Tell Me More podcast is being recorded on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We pay our respects to elders past and present and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander cultures. My name is Olivia Molly Rogers and I'm excited to get comfortable in the uncomfortable with you and remind you that nobody is perfect and everybody has something going on behind the scenes that you may not know about. I hope you enjoy the podcast. Hello and welcome back to Tell Me More. Today's guest is an incredible, award-winning Australian singer-songwriter known for his soulful voice and captivating melodies. At just 22 years old, Budjerah has quickly made a name for himself in the Australian music scene, with his unique blend of R&B, pop and soul influences. Budjerah won the ARIA Award for Breakthrough Artist in 2021, and in 2022 he won his second ARIA for Best Soul R&B Release and was named GQ Australia's Breakthrough Artist. It's quite the rap for a 22-year-old. Very impressive.
Wow, that's a lot of things.
That's a lot of things. That's you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I know you're a very busy guy. You are in the middle of a tour, right?
Yeah. We did a show last night, and we have a show tomorrow night. And as you can see, I haven't slept very well.
No, you look fresh.
Busy, but it's good. It's good. I just like to sing, so
that's good.
That's the job.
So you're feeling okay?
I'm feeling good.
Good. Well, I'm really grateful that you made time for us when you are so busy. Now, obviously, you have quite the background that I just shared, but how would you describe yourself to a stranger?
How would I describe myself to a stranger? I sing. That's pretty much all I do, to be honest. I don't have many hobbies. I can't cook or anything.
That's fine. You sing and you do it very well.
Yeah, I decided that I wanted to be a singer when I was quite young and I stuck with it.
That's awesome.
And yeah, my favorite color is green, if anyone wants to know.
Well, you're in the right spot for that.
Yeah.
So you're a singer and you like green.
Yeah, it's my favorite color.
I think from what I've read and listened and learned about you, you're a big family man as well.
Oh yeah, I love my family. My band, a few of my band members are my cousins, and I always bring either my mum or my dad with me. And
Dad's here?
Yeah, Dad's here today. Dad comes on the road when it's touring, and then if I'm like writing or doing radio promo, sometimes Mum will come. I have 3 younger siblings and 2 of them are still in school, so we trade off. So I'm not hogging Mum and Dad.
Got to share them around.
Got to share them.
Now, where did you grow up? Can you tell me a bit about your childhood and what that was like?
Yeah, I grew up in a small little town called Finglehead. It's right on the border of Queensland and New South Wales, and it's got a beach on one side and a river on the other side, and one way in, one way out. And it's nice. It's a bit fancy now. A lot of really rich people moved in, but when I was little, it was just like a small little Aboriginal community, and I just grew up around my cousins, and my family were very, very close.
Awesome.
In Fingal, and just surfing and playing music in church and
that's so cool.
all that. Yeah,
sounds very wholesome.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I still live there now, so
yeah.
Not much has changed.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And now you mentioned church, and I've read that you spent a lot of time in church growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you learned how to sing, is that right?
Yeah, well, my dad taught me how to sing. All my family are musicians. My mum sings as well. And my dad plays the drums, and they all my uncles and aunties, they were the band in church. So when I was born on a Sunday, and then on the Wednesday they were practicing for the Sunday service. And so yeah, I just grew up around that and learning from some of the best musicians ever. Very, very gifted and technically really good as well. Some people think church is self-taught, but they're really well-educated musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they taught me so much, and that's my musical upbringing.
And how old were you, do you think, when you were I'm going to be a singer?
Well, I always sang ever since I was could make noise. I just loved even little TV shows with a good theme song, like Phineas and Ferb, Or like I love the Thomas the Tank Engine theme song when I was really little.
Whatever that first one was, I'm not sure what that is.
Phineas and Ferb?
Yeah, I think I'm too old, maybe.
It's from Disney Channel.
Okay.
And it's about these two boys that are like inventors, and their sister tries to like get them in trouble for all their wacky things.
Oh, Daniel's found it.
There's 104 days of summer vacation and school comes along just to end it. And I used to just love, and they used to have like, they have so many songs throughout the whole show.
Yeah.
And I would just, any show that had music, I'd just love it. And then I think when I got to high school, the principal was like, oh, if you like to sing, you should do the musical. And that's when we did all the rehearsals, and that's when I was like, I really love performing. And
what was the musical?
It was Hairspray.
Oh, cool.
I was in Hairspray, and I was Seaweed because I was like the brownest kid they had there.
What, literally they said that's why they chose you for
No,
that
but
role?
it's pretty obvious. It was pretty obvious. And, I really liked his songs that he has in the musical anyway. And that's, I really loved, all the rehearsing and performing and learning the songs and the lines. And that's when I was like, I'm going to be a singer. And
so cool.
I started writing songs and practicing every day. And my dad taught me and coached me. He also taught me how to write as well. And and slowly everything came into place, and it actually worked out.
Yeah, it's more than worked out. I think it's been incredible how much your career has blown up over the last few years. What's that been like, coming from such a small town, very family oriented, to, you toured with, who did you tour with last year?
Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran.
Can you say that a little bit louder?
Ed Sheeran.
That is wild. Like, can you talk me through what that transition has been like?
Well, from then to now, I got signed when I was 17. I got seen, my cousin posted me on Twitter, and the guy from Warner, his name's Marcus, he saw me singing a song that my dad wrote on Twitter from my cousin, and they reached out, and I think they were going to give me a development deal. Sometimes they give young people development deals where they
like train
you, and they put you with different producers, and you write a bunch of songs and put out a couple of singles. And I got a full deal. And
at
COVID,
17, that's amazing.
17, and I got to drop out of high school, which is pretty fun. Because I just wrote so much, I didn't have time to stay in school, and then coronavirus happened, so I kind of just like kept writing songs during COVID with my friends. Matt Corby, I spent a lot of time with Matt Corby because he lives close by in COVID, and then just coming out of the pandemic, you releasing all the songs that I wrote with Matt. We didn't really rush it, but people really liked the songs, and we had to go on tour and perform the songs with people. They wanted to hear them, so I don't really know how it happened. We just sing the songs, and people like it. They want me there, so I got to be there. But it's been a real blessing, and then winning the awards off my very first EP, which wasn't even a proper album when I was 19. So it's just been pretty crazy and just unexpected. I think I had a list of I had made a 5-year plan, and in the first year, half of it was already ticked off.
That's incredible.
And then, Ed Sheeran called, can you write a verse for this song? We're going to do a remix, and you're going to be the feature. So I went and I wrote my verse, and that led to doing the tour with him, and then singing songs to, 40,000 people every night, and upwards of that too, for like nearly a month.
It's crazy.
Straight every night.
You said Ed Sheeran called you. How did that come about?
Yeah. Well, I just got a call one day from my manager, and they just said, Ed wants you to do a verse. Can you write a verse? How quick can you write a verse?
How quick can you write a verse?
Oh, it doesn't take me that long. I kind of just did it straight away in my car. I pulled up the karaoke version of Two Step because it was already out and it was a remix.
Yeah.
So I just pulled up the karaoke version and on YouTube and just played it in my car through the aux cord, and
then wrote it there.
I wrote like 4 verses, and they liked the third one, so I went in and recorded it.
And then did you get to meet him?
We did when he came. When that tour got here, we didn't spend a lot of time hanging out because, you know, in a stadium tour, there's so much going on. You have a lot to do, and every now and then we'd bump into each other and have a little chat. And for someone like Ed Sheeran, 5 minutes of time is like so much time.
Yeah.
So it was pretty awesome, and he's so nice. Yeah.
That's so good. It's like there must be so many pinch me moments that you've been having over the last few years.
Oh, every day is a pinch me moment.
That's so good. But I think that like the way that you are, and you seem so grateful and grounded, and obviously family is so important to you, that it keeps you that way. We met back in March at the Grand Prix, and I remember you said something very similar. I just assumed you were a model because I think the other guys that were there as well.
Am I that handsome?
Yeah, you're handsome, and you looked great in your Tommy. Like I feel like everyone looks like that really cool old school Tommy campaign vibes. You know, they dressed us all very well. And I said, "Are you a model?" And you said, "I'm a singer." Oh no, you said, "I just sing." Similar to what you said before. I'm like, I feel like you are so humble. It's quite amazing, particularly with how your career has been going. How do you find, you know, dealing with an industry that's definitely not always like that? And you've said before that you don't drink, and, you know, you're not like a party person, but you're very much in an industry that is like that with, you know, all of these influences around you. How do you stay true to who you are? I
think, like, especially I'm the youngest in my band, and, you know, I have my older cousins in there. They're definitely people that I'm pretty cool. Like I can sing, but they make sure that they remind me like I'm still Budjerah. I'm still like their little cousin, and that doesn't change. Like my parents, if my head gets too big, they'll just say, you know, shut up. Like
shut up.
Goes like, who do you think you are? And that's something that, you know, I get asked quite a lot, like, who are you? Like, why do you do this? Why do you do that? And that kind of just reminds me, like, I am just Budjerah, and I really only just sing. There isn't really, other than that, like, I don't really have any special attributes. Maybe my eyes, people tell me my eyes are beautiful a lot, but
I would disagree. I think you're one of the kindest people that I've ever met, and that's
thanks.
That's a big one.
Thanks. And I always like going home and seeing my family. That kind of like just reminds me, like, so much of what you see of this industry and what you see on the internet, it's like not real life. And I just, you know, I don't care enough to try and, you know, fit into, you know, people are staying up this late. Like even now on this tour, like we did like Adelaide and Perth last weekend, and I only got to sleep for 3 hours between each city, and I didn't get to eat, and I just am not for it. I would just like to sleep. I love doing the shows, but this industry, like everyone has a specific, like it has to be this way. You got to stay up late and party. You have to stay up late to write good songs in the studio, but not me. I said to the producers in Los Angeles that I've been working with, like, we're starting at 7 p.m. and finishing at 7 a.m. I said, let's start at 12 p.m. Let's start after lunch and see how we go. And I've just learned, like, there's no point in trying to force myself to be
something that you're not. Some
other way, you know. It's quite fine just to, you know, live a normal life and a normal schedule.
Yeah.
Some people probably don't think I'm that cool because of it, but
I think it's extra cool.
But whatever.
That you stay
true
to yourself.
Like, tell me how you feel after only sleeping 3 hours on a flight. Like, you know, I would much rather work in the day and like live happily and healthily.
Yeah. And
just sing. And, you know, my fans enjoy that too. So it doesn't bother me.
No, I think it's
Yeah.
great. I think, like I just said, I think it's even more cool that you're able to stay true to yourself and push back against that, and, you know, not get sort of influenced by other people and their opinions and the ways that they think you should be doing things.
Yeah.
How do you go? Can you tell me about why you don't drink?
I just never have. Growing up in church, with my family, like no one drinks at all. No one in my band drinks. And it's never been something that's interested me. I have been to a club once for a friend's 18th birthday, and I got hit on by like this 50-year-old woman, and it was not cool. And I was the designated driver, and I was like, this is just not the place. And I never ever went back. Yeah, I think for a lot of Aboriginal people, like a lot of people think Aboriginal people love to get on it, but I think it's quite the opposite when you actually take a look at the communities.
I respect it so much. I went through a period of not drinking for like 18 months or so, and it's always so interesting to see how people respond when you say, I'm not drinking, or I don't drink. That people sort of get like their back up about it.
People get shocked. I mean, like, doesn't really, like, if you want to drink alcohol, but like I think it's quite strange too how people react and find it to be weird.
I think it's just because it's such a big part of Australian culture that it's kind of a given that everyone drinks. So then when there's someone who doesn't, particularly someone who is in an industry where a lot of people do, I think, like you said, they're probably shocked. How do you cope with people's reactions?
Well, it doesn't really bother me, you know, like not everyone is going to, like I said before, not everyone's going to think it's cool that how we do things, but don't bother me. They don't have to hang around me if they don't want to. They can go to the club.
Go
to the club if you want to.
Go get hit on by a 50-year-old.
Yeah. I'm going to go to bed. I'll be fine. But I guess I'm just lucky to have like my family around me too that, you know, similar to me, like we don't need any sort of extra bits in our life to make us happy or satisfied. You know, we can just eat pizza and play Uno and go to bed at a normal time.
I love that.
Yeah.
So wholesome. I feel like you're a really great role model for your audience, probably without even intending to be. Like, it just would come naturally.
Oh, well, I hope so.
How do you find having all of these fans and, you know, people that do look up to you? And it must be quite surreal when you know, step into a room and people are there knowing the lyrics to your songs and, you know, getting so excited to see you.
Yeah, it's quite... sometimes it feels like a little bit scary because, you know, people look at me and they like kind of they expect a bit more from me.
How do you mean?
Like, you know, if I wear like Converse, I had a kid that he begged his mum to go get Converse because I was wearing Converse.
Wow.
So things like that, like if I'd like do something a certain way, like I want to be able to, like, if people are going to follow me look to me to make decisions, or like, what's Budjerah doing? How can I do it like Budjerah? I want to make sure that it's something that is going to like be positive for people. Like I don't want to like set an example where people are go, oh, well, Budjerah did that, so I'm going to do it too. And
so you feel pressure to be good.
Yeah. And I think that's actually I think that's a good thing for me, good way to be.
Yeah.
It keeps me responsible for myself, but it also, you know, being responsible for an audience. And, you know, some people probably don't care too much about what I'm doing, but, you know, when people look up to you, you have to set a good example for them, especially if it's a young kid or like a teenager. Some of them, you know, are still learning about how to live their life and how to make good decisions. So I want to be someone that they can look to, and someone they respect to, you know, Budjerah's not drinking, so I'm not going to, like, I don't need to drink anyway. If Budjerah can do without it, I can do without it. Yeah. Or like, you know, I want to be a good role model to people, and that kind of helps me be a good role model to myself too.
Yeah. And you've got younger siblings, like I feel
and I
like
got
that,
younger siblings. Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah.
But yeah, it would be overwhelming.
Yeah.
That many people looking up to you.
Yeah, it's good. It helps me keep myself in check. Check myself. Don't do anything stupid. Because a couple kids might follow after you, and it might be bad for them too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really good. Now, Therapy has been one of your biggest hits. It's had over 15 million streams on Spotify or something crazy like that. Can you tell me about that song? I love that song.
Well, I was on tour in 2022. I did like 2 shows a week for the whole year, and I think I was taking a break in Hawaii, but I was supposed to be going on tour with Ed Sheeran, and I wanted a big song for stadiums, and I didn't have time to go to a studio and write songs that year. So there wasn't many choices in my bank at that point, and I had this folder that was sent to me that had like 30 songs in it, and I heard this demo that had this woman was singing, and it was the best singing that I've ever heard, and it was Therapy by Sarah Aarons. She wrote this beautiful song, and I just thought, wow, it's got kick, it's got punch, she let me sing the song. She liked it. She liked how I sang it. I liked how I sang it, and put it out before I went on tour, and awesome. It kind of just
blew up.
Did its thing. It did what it was supposed to do, and it was really fun. I love singing that song.
Yeah, it's such a good song.
Yeah, it's I love the punchiness was what really caught me about it, and Sarah is really talented at making, songs and lyrics that just hit you. In a good way. In a good way, and
What sort of inspires you when you're writing a song? Because I feel like you often have similar themes about like love and, bettering yourself and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, when I write a song, I just kind of write about what's going on in my life. You could probably, all the songs that I've written myself, you can probably directly link to an experience that I've had, or even books I read. Stranger Love was a song that I wrote for Panau, and that was based off the book The Little Prince, which is one of my favorite books, little French book. And Is It Ever Gonna Make Sense is like inspired by how I like don't really enjoy drinking coffee, but I drink coffee anyway.
Because you need to stay awake.
I need to stay awake. I make it really sweet too. I don't get like bitter coffee.
Yeah, what's your coffee orders? An iced caramel latte?
Iced caramel latte.
That does sound sweet.
It is sweet, and I can't taste the coffee. But yeah, all of my songs are like directly linked to certain experiences.
So Is It Ever Gonna Make Sense started about coffee, right? But it kind of shifted.
It started about coffee, and it is about it. It started. So I came down to Melbourne at the start of this year. It was only written in January, and my New Year's resolution was not to drink coffee because I was getting migraines from it.
But I heard you were only having one a day.
I was only having one a day.
Yeah, wow.
So
it really affects you.
It hits me hard.
Yeah.
And I was doing well until I landed here in Melbourne. G Flip and Aiden Hoggs, they just like invited me down for the weekend, and we hung out and wrote like 6 songs together over the weekend. And
sounds like a great weekend.
It was awesome. But the first thing I did when I landed was I got myself a coffee. I was like, this sucks. And I was telling G about it, and they were like, oh, well, that should just be the song, Coffee in the Morning. I don't want to drink again. And I was like, oh, cool. And they did the drums. Aiden played the guitar. And the more we talked, G Flip has a really like awesome way of just getting you to talk about things. And I started talking about a specific person, and that's how the song came about. It was about the coffee, not wanting to drink coffee, and that didn't make sense. But also, this situation with this specific person was also it didn't make sense. So nothing made sense, and we made a song about that.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's so clever. It's such a good song.
Glad you like it.
If you haven't listened and you're listening to this, make sure you go and listen to it. What has been a highlight of your career to date? I'm sure there's too many to count, but if you can...
So many highlights. Gee whiz. What's my highlights? I mean, everything is a highlight. Being on the Tell Me More podcast is a highlight. I think this is a really fun setup.
Oh, thank you.
New experience.
So nice.
I really, one of my the coolest things ever was I've gotten to sing with so many like legends and like people that I really look up to. I got to sing Chains with Tina Arena.
That's so weird you mentioned that, because we were literally just talking about it before. She's been in this studio too.
Oh, that's cool.
And that is one of my all-time favorite songs, and Matt Corby's cover of that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
so
obsessed.
Like I saw like the first time I went to a festival was Splendor in the Grass in 2019, and Matt played, and he brought out Miss Tina as a guest.
I love that you call her Miss Tina.
Yeah. And
yeah.
And I was like, wow. And I was standing by the sound desk, and I was just like, this is crazy. And then I went and seen Matt like a month later, and I was like, that was crazy. You just sang with Tina Arena. And he was also like flipping out as well, and probably still does. And then last year? Yeah. At the Rolling Stone Awards, I was performing, and then they were presenting Miss Tina with like the Legacy Award, Lifetime Achievement Rolling Stone. And so I was like, I better sing my best. And then
were you performing?
I was performing.
You were booked to perform?
Yeah, so I was like, well, all these amazing artists are going to be there, so I need to just like kill it. And then Miss Tina called and was like, you're going to sing this song with me. You have to sing this song with me.
Wow.
And I was like, no way, this is crazy. And so I like spent a week just like singing that song over and over again, learning all the harmonies and every...
Can you sing just a tiny snippet? I love it so much.
Ooh, okay.
You don't have to.
I haven't warmed up, but we'll give it a go. Your arms are warm, but they make me feel as if they're made from cold, cold steel. A simple kiss and turn key. I've crossed the line from mad to sane 1,000 times and back again. I love you, baby. I'm in chains.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed.
Yeah, I got a few of the words wrong. It's live. This
is a highlight of my entire... We've recorded 45 episodes, and I think that's my favorite moment ever. Wow, thank you.
Thanks. Yeah. I lied. I warm up every morning. I warm up every morning. I'm always
you
ready.
say that just in case it's not perfect, and then you nail it, and you're like, it's fine.
Yeah.
Wow, you are so talented, and that is like, it's just one of the best
you.
songs, isn't it?
Oh, it's amazing, and Miss Tina was amazing. She said we didn't even rehearse. We went to sound check and we sang it once in sound check, and I was like, "Do you want to do anything again?" And she's like, "No, just sing. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. Just sing the song." And that's something that I've taken with me from that, and that's kind of why I say like, I just sing, because Miss Tina told me that's literally all I have to do.
Miss Tina told me.
Which is pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome. So cool. I feel like I say that to everything you say. I'm like, wow, so cool. It's all so cool. That is a very impressive highlight. Is there a recording of that? I would love to watch it.
There's snippets of it on online. I'm sure my mum has like a video of it on her phone.
Oh, can we get that? I would love to see it.
We can send it to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
What about lowlights or challenges? Like, what is it that you have found most challenging over the last few years?
I'm looking at my dad because my dad knows what the most challenging things are. I think especially being a young person and being a young singer, a lot of people think I'm dumb. And I dropped out of school, but I did not have bad grades. So a lot of people think that they can just twist the truth to me.
Or they think you're like naive. Or...
They think I'm naive. But yeah, it's not the case. I can see through BS very clearly. It's like I have special goggles on or something. And so that's been the biggest challenge for me, is like people trying to flip things on me or try and fool me. But, you know, I'm quite aware of what's going on.
That's good.
Yeah, it's very...
Maybe it's not such a bad thing, like, because you are always across it and they're not going to know that.
Yeah.
But it is hard if you feel like people make an assumption about what you're like when you're not like that.
Yeah. So, you know, certain people telling me like, oh, this is just the way that we do things in the industry. And I'm like, you know, it doesn't have to be. Oh, this is what we do for all of our artists. And, you know, I am not all of your artists. I'm Budjerah. You know, you can't just deal with people the same. There's no formula for this industry. As you can, you know, it's very easy to tell that not every song that hits #1 is the same song. There's so many different experiences and different ways of being a musician and writing a song. And there's so many different ways of touring and different styles of music. There's no one way to do it. So when people have come to me and tried to get me to do things a certain way, or they've tried to make it look a certain way or sound like something, I've just been like, you know, you kind of like, you know better.
Yeah.
And you can quite clearly see. So it gets very frustrating when people try and pull the same tricks on you, even though you've already seen past it. That's been the most challenging thing for me.
And what about like being away from family and stuff? I mean, obviously you said that you have a lot of family around you and your cousins in the band and mum and dad come with you a bit, but yeah, how do you go when you're away from home for a big period of time?
I think the longest I was away was like nearly 2 months. On my first overseas trip, I went to Europe and London and North America, and my mum came with me, and it was the first time I went overseas to like a whole nother continent, and it was way too long, and it was very hard for me and my mum. And yeah, even with my band, like it was a bit hard for me to get my cousins to come on the road with me. A lot of people were like, oh, like it's kind of like a thing in the industry too. You know, you have like the stage mums and the managers, the parents trying to be the managers, and my fam, I know, you know, because I grew up with them, they're not like certain stage mums or whatever, or like family just trying to sneak their way in. I know my family care about me, but for some people in the industry, I had to like prove to them like they have to be on tour with me. It won't go good if we don't have my cousins in the band, you know. But it's there's like a what's the word, like there's like a fear of having too much family involvement in this business. Because they might think they're trying to control what you're doing, whereas you just want them there for support, right? So it was definitely like in the beginning of, you know, getting my parents to come with me everywhere. And I was 17 too, so it was like, it was all right. But then when I turned 18, they were like trying to kind of separate me from my family, and I was like, this is not how we're going to do it. Like I really do need them. and now everyone kind of accepts it. Everyone's always happy to see my mum and my dad now, and people have learnt like how caring they are and how they're truly there just to support me and be there for me. They're not there for their own gain. So
that's so nice, and also to keep you grounded.
Keep me grounded.
Yeah. You're currently on your own tour.
Mm-hmm.
What's that been like?
It's been really fun. The therapy sessions tour. I have background singers this tour, which has really been so much fun. And my fans have just been so incredible on this tour. I've even been like staying after the show, like just to meet everyone and hang out, and it's just been so incredible. Like people are making signs.
Love that.
And very, very like a lot of them ask so many questions, which I really love as well. In Adelaide, there was a lot of young kids there that are in like a jazz program with their schools, and so they didn't just go up to me, but they went up to my band, and they were just trying to learn, and that's something that really makes me happy.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been really awesome. The hard thing is definitely the schedule.
Yeah.
And
what does it look like?
It looks quite horrible, to be honest. I could pull up my calendar on my phone and you could see there's not much time for sleeping or eating. But, once we get on stage and seeing all the people, that really does make it worth it. That was like, that was the dream. Like, music is something that goes it goes past the head and goes straight to the heart. And to see my music go straight to so many people's heart, that was always the goal. And so it makes me really happy. And in Sydney, I was like nearly crying on stage because I seen a woman at the front crying, and in Adelaide there was people crying, and that is like really what, I watched my favorite singers on DVDs when I was younger, and they had their fans crying at the front, and I'm seeing the same thing in front of my eyes, and it's something I could never have imagined actually happening. So I'm really, really grateful for all my fans that are coming to this tour.
That's amazing. I felt like I was going to cry when you were singing Chains before. I just couldn't believe what was happening. Do you get nervous before your shows?
I do. When I started performing, it was just me and a guitar, and I got used to, like once I had warmed up, and from doing like theatre in school, I had like my stage mode was like turned on, and I was like set. But then last year I did my first show in a theatre as Budjerah, and I like vomited before I went. No. Like, hey, my dad, we were in the car, and I was like in the car, I was sitting there, I was like dizzy, and I vomited. And when you look at the photos, I look green. Green. Like
What's your favorite color? So that's not
her color. I'd never like experienced that kind of like stage fright until a year ago, and that's, I don't know what's changed in me, but it's
gone away a bit.
No, I get quite sick. I feel I never used to feel sick until like a year ago.
How do you overcome it? Like, how do you push past that feeling and then get out there and still perform?
Well, we pray as a band before we go on stage, but warming up, I think I'm extra meticulous now with my warm-ups and my, I stretch and everything as well. But it's something that I just have to like hold back, and I just try and like make it a positive energy for me to do the show on.
Do you have any affirmations or anything like that you sort of go back to?
I just pray. I thank the Lord. I thank Jesus for keeping me, and actually, for his plan. The Bible says that he planned it out. So I just, I pray, and I trust that whatever's supposed to happen on stage happens, and that people feel the music. And I just kind of like, I do that over and over again. Once the band goes on stage and I'm standing behind the curtain with my microphone before I walk on, I'm praying and just like reminding myself that this is what's supposed to be happening. You have nothing to worry about. And yeah, once I'm on stage, I'm okay. I get locked in, and I do the show. We've rehearsed it 100 times, so like it shouldn't go wrong unless it's supposed to. I don't know. Yeah.
And you think of Miss Tina saying,
I think of Miss Tina Arena sing the song. Yeah.
I would love to finish with a segment called Oranges and Lemons. And you said before we started recording that you have your own version of this. Can you tell me what that is?
We do. Me and my band do High Low Buffalo, which is like the highlight, the low light, and Buffalo is like the wacky one. You said your friend's daughter does like...
Yeah, she came up with a lime. So there's orange is the positive, the lemon is the negative, and the lime is something that was a lemon but became more of an orange. So it's the in-betweener.
In between.
Yeah.
Well, lemon is the low. I'll start with my orange. My orange is this setup is so beautiful, and it makes me, I like the tree and the green. The pink is not, it's like kind of like pastel-y colors.
Yeah. I'm glad you like it.
That's my orange. I think it's really nice. And I haven't done a podcast in person before, so that's like my orange.
Oh, that's so nice.
My lemon is I slept in a bit too long today, and I missed breakfast at the hotel.
Oh.
So we got here a little bit early, so we did. So the lime is that we did get a coffee and a bit of breakfast across the road.
Your very sweet coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love that. My orange is definitely this conversation. You are such a ray of sunshine, and
Thanks.
you have such a positive perspective on things, and it's just been such a pleasure chatting to you. And also the fact that you were able to make time during your crazy schedule. I'm just really grateful. My lemon is that I was running yesterday and I hurt my knee, and I thought it was like a one-day thing, but I'm feeling it just sitting here. So that's a lemon.
Hope it gets better.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm sure it will. I'll be okay. But thank you so much. I think if people didn't know who you were before this, they probably have fallen in love with you. So
thanks.
I hope they will go and stream all of your music.
Listen to my songs. You'll probably like that even more than my personality.
Oh, that would be hard to beat. Thank you so much for coming in. It's been such a pleasure. Thanks for listening to Tell Me More. This show wouldn't be possible without you. If you'd like to show your support, please subscribe or follow the podcast on your favourite platforms, and don't forget you can watch full episodes on YouTube and Spotify.